Okay, so this is our little foot workout. So if you have your chair, you can pause the video. You need to get a ball of some sort. If you haven't got a ball, you could get a rolling pin and a book. Yeah, so when you've got your things, and an elastic band, if you've got a thick elastic band or a hair bubble, that's optional, but if you've got one, you can go grab it. When you've got everything, you're going to start massaging your feet. So either you've got a rolling pin that you don't mind rolling your feet on, or you've got some kind of hard ball or a tennis ball that you're just going to massage all over. So you can hold the back of your chair. We want to do the outside of the arch, the inside of the arch, from the ball of the foot all the way to the heel. When you've done one foot, you can switch over. Same on the other foot, rolling the ball all over, up and down the inside of the arch, up and down the outside of the arch, the ball of the foot to the back of the heel. When you've massaged that second foot all over, you're going to go and stand behind your chair. I'm just going to move mine so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to be stood behind your chair with your feet in a little tiny V. So if you look down, you'll have your heels together and your feet at 10 to 2. In that little tiny V, we're going to stand up tall. You're going to think of tucking the tailbone underneath very slightly and lifting your chest bone. Then think of squeezing your legs together. So if someone has zipped up from your heels all the way up to your sitting bones, you squeeze together there, you're pulling together, and you keep that while you start rising up and down. So of all the different shaped legs, it might be that your heels come apart, your heels have to come apart, or your knees aren't touching. It doesn't matter, but have the sense of pulling your legs as if they're both magnets and they're pulling together. If you can keep your heels together, do. And then we'll start to go a little bit quicker. So you're barely going to transfer any weight to your heels. You're just tapping the floor with them. So we'll get a little bit tired through the calf muscles and the lower legs. Might get a little bit tired in the buttock muscles if you're still tucking under. Let's have about 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Good. And then keep your legs will shake. So here, if you've got the ball, that's what you're going to use to stretch your calves. If you haven't, you get your book and you put that down. I'm just going to grab something that will look like a book. So either if you've got the ball, you put the ball down, you put the ball of your right foot on the ball and your heel on the floor. Then you step your left foot forward until you've got that pull down the back of your right calf. I'm just going to hold that. If you're using a book, you would put the ball of your foot on the book and your heel on the floor. And again, you step your left foot forward until you can feel that pull down the back of the right calf. And we're just going to hold this. Take a few deep breaths. Try to still stand tall. It might ease off a little bit after a while. And then you can switch your legs over. So again, if it's the book, the ball of your foot goes on, your heel is off the back, and your right foot now comes forward. It doesn't matter whether your right foot is almost in line with your left foot or it's quite far in front. It will just depend on how far you need to go to feel that pull. So if you're using the ball, you've put the ball of your left foot on the ball, your heel on the floor. Same thing, little steps forward with your right foot until you feel it's enough. And then we just stay, try and relax the shoulders, try and stand up tall. A few slow breaths. you can just sit down on your chair. If you've got the band here, an elastic band, it can go around your big toes, just so that, and we have it in line with the nail bed, rather than all the way into the webby bit of the toes. If you haven't got a band, you can do it without. If you have got a band, it goes up in line with your nail bed, so that it's pulling your big toes out. And then you want your feet just wide enough that you can see your big toes have been pulled slightly away from your second toes, and that the big toes are now in line with the inner border of that foot. If you haven't got your band, doesn't matter. We're all going to try and spread the toes out, and then you're trying to bring your toes towards your heel, and then you're spreading them out again. So it's that dragging of the toes towards your heel. So you're making a little dome underneath your foot. So both the heel and the toes will stay on the floor, and both feet are doing the same thing. It's one of those exercises that you might feel a little bit of cramp starting under the feet, but then you know that those muscles are working. Dragging the toes towards the heels, and this is a nice easy one to practice when you're sat watching telly. Spread out your toes, drag the toes towards the heels, spread them out, drag them towards the heels. So we keep the strength in our feet and the flexibility to help with balance. We actually have the potential for more proprioception, more feedback from our feet than we do in our hands. We have more nerve endings in our feet, so they're really designed to help us know where we are in space. Okay, now you're going to have you can take your band off if you had it on. Put it somewhere where you can reuse it. You can put it on even if you're not doing the exercises. You can just sit with it on, stretching out your toes. Then you're going to have your heels about tennis ball width apart, and you're going to keep them there as you bring your toes to touch, and then you take your toes out. So toes come in, big toes touch, toes come out. As we're doing in and out, we're trying not to do it with the knees. You can put your hands on your knees so that it's your toes coming in and out and not your knees. If it's easy, take your heels a bit wider, so it's a bit more of a stretch to get your big toes towards each other, and then take them out. Can be a bit frustrating this until you get used to being able to move your feet without your knees. The last thing we're going to do is a little bit of balancing. So let's do 2 more of these. Then stand yourselves up, hold onto your chair again. We're going to stand on one leg. I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't see the seconds, but I'm going to come right close now. Okay, let's stand on one leg. We try and stand up really tall. We're not letting our hips sink, and you're going to be really light with your fingers. I'm going to need to keep staring close to check the time. We're going to have another 20 seconds. And expect there to be some wobbling in that ankle. We want it to be hard enough that there is some little movements happening, some little adjustments. That's what's going to strengthen your lower leg. Good. Okay, you can put that foot down. We'll switch over, we'll lift the other one. Doesn't matter which hand you're holding on with. Standing tall, remember we don't want the hips sinking, we want to hike it up a bit. Balancing as best you can. Make it difficult for yourself. Challenge yourself. You want that little movement. That's what's going to teach your leg how to react. It's going to increase your proprioception. All right, yeah, we're nearly there. A few more seconds. Okay, and then you can put your foot down, and that's the end of your footwork.